Good morning, everybody. This is Derek with ILI Private Equity Holdings LLC. I want to thank you, number one, for taking a little bit of time out of your day to kind of come hang out with me a little bit. I won't take a whole lot of your time, but I just wanted to kind of discuss a little bit about opportunity and then also complacency. One thing that I have been noticing is that as Americans, we seem to be a little bit complacent. We're not really interested in change of our mindset and change of our daily routine in order to actually facilitate change in our life. Now, I know that we need change in our life because I look every Monday on places like Facebook and other places, and there's all these memes about, oh, wow, I really, really, really hate to go to work on Monday. Or, they're, sitting in the car, praying that they have the strength to make it through the day. So I know that that's the feeling a lot of people get when they get up on Monday morning and they go to work and they're unhappy with what they're doing because it's not really them. It's just something that provides them a paycheck. It's something that keeps the refrigerator full. It's something that keeps the lights on in the house. But we're not in a situation, where we're changing that. The vast majority of us, there are some of us that are out there that are really looking at changing that mindset, and we're not necessarily just up and quitting our jobs either. There's a lot of us that are out there working our jobs and then coming home and working on our businesses and things like that as well. We need more of that. We need more people to believe that it's actually possible for you to actually have a life where you're happy, a life where you're doing what you want to do instead of doing what you have to do in order to survive. You're spending 40 hours a week doing something that you don't love. Why not put that effort into something that you do love? Maybe you don't have 40 hours a week. I understand that you have to pay your bills. I understand that you have to do, you have to do things to maintain your household. You might have kids. You have, different responsibilities that you have to take. I understand that. But what I'm saying is, what are you doing after work? Do you come home and just watch TV? I know there's a lot that has to be done, housework, things like that. You got to fix food. You got to do, take care of things. And sometimes you need to relax. But can you really afford to be complacent is the question. Think about it. There was a time when you could have one person go to work and then there was somebody at home who could take care of all of the things in the home, and then you kind of could relax after work because you knew that if I stay on my job and I work really hard, I could probably move up in the company, and after 40 years, they're going to give me a gold watch and some money to live. And that's not really the way it is anymore. Nowadays, if you spend 5 years with a company, that's a long time. And a lot of times there's no retirement or anything attached to that. You're funding it yourself. So, and then, like I said, if you're only with a company maybe 4 or 5 years, you're taking on debts that are longer than that. Your car payment's longer than that. Your house payment's longer than that. So you're really counting on the job market to continue to provide the money and the income that you need to take care of the responsibilities that you have. But what happens when the job says you can't come back, or they close the doors and no one's got a job anymore? Most people don't really think about that situation until they're confronted with it. This is why we have the reaction that we have with, say, if you saw the video for the Carrier Corporation and them saying they're going to move their jobs to Mexico, and you saw the reaction that the people had, it's really because they don't have anything else. Now, if they had something else, they might say, okay, well, I can maneuver around this. It's a situation I got to deal with, but I can maneuver around it. But the heavy reaction that we saw is really based on the fact that they don't have a plan B. There's nothing that they're prepared to do outside of get another job. And when they realize, wow, like there may not be another job because I'm getting laid off with 1,000 other people. Where are we all gonna go? Then that leads to despair, and that leads to anger. You see people that, they just lose their mind. So the mindset that I'm talking about really needs to change. We need to be preparing ourselves, and part of our process now, career wise, should be preparing ourselves for what we're going to do outside of the job. What if this went away tomorrow? How am I going to feed my kids? How am I going to pay my electric bill? How am I going to pay my car note? So those are things that we need to start thinking about. Am I invested here? Am I invested there? Is there a small business or something, some knowledge that I have, something that I know that I can share with the world, and begin to build a following behind? Those are things that are really important for us to start thinking about. The mindset really just has to change, because if you're waiting for something bad to happen and hoping that it doesn't, 9 times out of 10, it's going to happen. Something bad's going to happen. I've been a recipient of those notices quite a bit in my lifetime, over 20 some odd years of working. Just places close, or hey, we don't need you anymore, so you got to go. And it happens, and it's happening to a lot of people, and it's happening en masse. It's not it's not something that's not typical for 400 or 500 people in your market to lose their job all at the same time. So you need to start preparing yourself. I need to start preparing myself the same way, and just changing my mindset into a better, getting into a better position when those things occur. So, one of the reasons I know that is because I think it was 2001 or so, I got laid off. I was working with Morgan Stanley, Dean Witter, online, and going into the office every single day. I'm in management. I'm a supervisor there. Things are going really well. I went in one day, and 15 minutes later, I went home. But in the couple of years that I was working there, the few years I was building up, equipment for another a business that I really wanted to run, which was really in my heart. And when I left that job, making a little over 50,000, I think I was somewhere between $50,000 to $57,000 a year. That all went away from me in a puff of smoke. I did get paid out some or whatever, but with that payout, I was like, okay, cool. I'll go and see what the job market's like. I'm gonna go out there and just see what else is there. And I went out there, and they were offering me $8 an hour. And this is, I went on this interview, and the lady really looked at me and offered me a job for $8 an hour. She says, I know that you're probably overqualified the job. You make more money than that. But this is a great job or whatever. It's $8 an hour. And I'm like, okay, I'm making like $50,000 a year. I have a lifestyle that says $50,000 a year. I don't have a lifestyle that says $20,000 a year. And this was a top 100 company in the area, like listed. And, I looked, and I was like excited about it, because this is like a top 100 company for families. And I'm like, wow. So, we need to start changing our mindset. And I realized that at that time I had changed my mindset a little bit. I had been investing in buying the equipment for my little recording studio, and that's kind of what I wanted to do with, going forward. And all I really had to do was spend a little bit more money, and I was ready to go. And I stepped into my own business. I didn't have to wait on a job to hire me, and I didn't have to wait on money to come in from a job. I was able to actually create it myself. So that's what I'm talking about, just changing the mindset a little bit, changing the way that you view your job. It's great. It's wonderful. Hold on to it as long as you can. But in the meantime, at night, be working on something else. Take your money, invest it. Our ILI Forex Trading Fund, the private equity Forex Trading Fund, is a great way to do that. We can create you income from pretty much the first day. You just have to invest a little bit of money. When do you have the money? That's when you're working. It's not, you don't have the money when you're not working. That's when you want to hold on tight to all of your pennies, because you're like, wow, I don't know where anything else is going to come from. But what I'm saying is, start to invest, start to put together a business, start to put together your plan for what you're going to do if your income goes away. Okay, so that's kind of what I wanted to talk about today. Just the opportunity to kind of change your mindset, the opportunity to set yourself up for maybe some success in the future. maybe the opportunity to set yourself up for a situation where maybe you're not upset going to work on Monday mornings. When you wake up on Monday morning, you feel like, wow, like I can do what I really love to do. So that's kind of what we're here for. So, I've taken about 10 minutes of your time already. I don't want to keep going here. Once again, my name is Derek Banks. I'm with ILI Private Equity Holdings, LLC. I'm glad that you kind of came and spent some time with me today. And I hope that you have a wonderful day. Have a great one. Bye-bye.